What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in where we critique movies and give you the 411 on what's hot in the movie world. I'm Adeeja Anderson.
And I'm Caleb Silvey. You're watching Real Talk.
The third movie in the well-known franchise of The Ring has been delayed from November of this year to later in 2016. Paramount Studios had announced the production of The Ring 3 last year and suggested it would be a sequel of the two previous films in the series. Now the new film is supposedly set to revisit the ghost Samara Morgan once again and is headed by director F. Javier Gutierrez, known for works such as Before the Fall and Brazil. No reason for the delay has been announced yet. Thought could just be due to production simply taking longer than realized. It happens. Realized back in 2002, The Ring was a successful remake of a Japanese horror film back in 1998. Whew, that was long ago. It not only passed at the box office, but was generally received well by critics and fans alike, commending the film for its creepily crafted story and disturbing atmosphere that didn't heavily rely on gore or cheap effects. However, its sequel, The Ring 2, wasn't quite as successful, considered by viewers as boring, confusing, and just completely disappointing. Considering a director change from Gore Verbinski to Hideo Nakata may have contributed to the sequel's flop. We'll see if another director change will save or maybe further fail the franchise itself. Nevertheless, this will surely be a film on every horror movie fan's radar this next year. Speaking of sequels, another franchise is seeking to add another film to the series. Blade Runner 2 is in the works and will hopefully be able to begin production here in the next year or two. The film is being produced by Ridley Scott, who Blade Runner fans should instantly recognize as the director for the original film, and plans to bring back frontrunner Harrison Ford, who is more than happy to return to the franchise, I'm pretty sure. Apparently, in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Ridley Scott claims that after he gave Harrison Ford the script for the film to read, Ford replied how it was the best script he ever read, like ever. The original film concerned a futuristic world where special operatives named Blade Runners hunted down genetically engineered humans known as replicants. And one Blade Runner who discovers these replicants are more human than they realize. The sequel will undoubtedly revisit the plight of the replicants and the conflicts between them and the Blade Runners trying to enforce the law. However, we have no idea about how far ahead in the story the sequel will start, nor any developments in the social situation of the world in the new movie. With Ford's age, the sequel will have to jump ahead a significant amount, of course, if you know what I mean. And with the possible addition of Ryan Gosling, so hot, to the film, we may see a new Blade Runner or even a new replicant join the story. With a seasoned producer and cast, we have little doubt this will be a movie to keep an eye out for.
Organized crime, mob violence, corrupted cops. Sounds like another good old-fashioned gangster film to me. Black Mass is the story of James Whitey Bulger, a small-time gang leader who begins to build his empire in Boston by teaming up with the FBI to take down the Italian mob while getting to practice his own dirty work with drugs and murder under the radar. While the alliance starts out somewhat smoothly, it quickly runs out of hand as Whitey's mob grows in power, while John Connolly, the FBI agent overseeing the mob, becomes corrupted with the power that he gains through his new informants. First things first, what a performance from Johnny Depp, an actor plagued by flop after flop at the box office. If anything could signal a comeback for this veteran actor, it's Black Mass. He takes a role that is just opposite from his typecast as a wacky, eccentric character, and kills it, pun intended. Depp presents Whitey as a dark, serious, and unstable man, who at one point is having a pleasant conversation with one of his men, and then the next moment blowing out that same man's brains out. And this is very reminiscent of his role a few years back as Sweeney Todd. Depp's performance of this character was phenomenal and one of the highlights of this film. Black Mass presents a creative angle in the gangster film genre with its premise of the FBI mob alliance. It's quite engaging to see each group try to work the other to its advantage, and even see one agent really become a gangster himself. The film makes excellent use of the composition and lighting in the film, creating dark atmospheres and contrast and shadows to highlight the tense atmosphere, especially during the meetings between Whitey and Connolly. The film does suffer from a few missteps, however. The film begins with a weak introduction, unfortunately, especially concerning the characters. There's a lot about them that we never get to know, and a lot that could have been used. Many characters failed to have the depth that makes the audience care about them, including Whitey in part, as the film tries to create sympathy at some points and it doesn't quite stick. Regardless, this is a solid gangster film and the right step in Depp's career. Black Mass earns a Real Talk rating of 7 out of 10. It's been a month since fall semester started, but do you miss your summer vacation? Then how about going to the rainforest and meet cannibal tribes in the Green Inferno? A freshman student, Jessica, joins the Student Social Activism Group, which is led by an enthusiastic senior student, Alejandro, to protest the destruction of the rainforest and indigenous tribes by a construction company. The group flies to Peru and attempts to record and publicize their video. Their plan seems to succeed, but when the group is on their way home, their plane crashes into the rainforest and they are captured by a native cannibal tribe. After witnessing one of their members being cooked and eaten in front of them, the group tries to escape from the tribe with their lives and limbs intact. The director Eli Roth, famous for his use of extreme gore, strikes terror into the hearts of audiences once again in the Green Inferno. Needless to say, the description of cannibalism is shocking, with even more gore than some of his previous works. Eli Roth deliberately shows how innocent college students are eaten by these cannibals. Some scenes are even just more disgusting than they are terrifying. However, unlike the cheesy B-horror movies, Eli Roth's direction and Antonio Culicia's cinematography are well qualified. Interestingly, most of the natives are played by actual natives living in the Amazon, and their acting is even better than what you'd expect. Moreover, the film is obviously inspired by the Italian horror movie directed by Ruggero Deodato in 1980, The Cannibal Holocaust. You can see Roth's respect to this film throughout the movie. Roth not only pays respect to Cannibal Holocaust, but he also brought the movie itself to the rainforest and showed it to these natives actually living there during production. And they actually enjoyed the movie. And it was because of this that they decided to make the decision to act in the film. Also, Roth delivers a simple message in the film: hypocrisy. The members of the group look like they're doing the right thing, but most of them are just selfish and only care about how this will make them look on social media. Even a deceitful truth reveals itself later in the movie, and when they realize their hypocrisy, it is just too late because it's supper time for the cannibal tribe. Maybe Green Inferno is just a little too intense for some viewers, but horror fans will definitely love and understand what Eli Roth wanted to do with the film. Just in case, never watch it for a date. The Green Inferno receives a Real Talk rating of 8 out of 10. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more Real Talk after this break.
Did you know that every 34 seconds someone has a heart attack? Every 40 seconds someone has a stroke? But it doesn't have to be that way. Every day there's hope. Join me and the American Heart Association and get serious about your heart and your health. If you're doing nothing, do something. If you're doing something, do more. Find healthy living solutions from the American Heart Association's My Heart, My Life. It's that simple.
Hey guys, welcome back to Real Talk. Now, before we wrap things up for the show, we wanted to take a second and give you a heads up about some of the films coming to theaters here very soon. Okay, up first, Pan. Now, everyone remembers the classic Disney animated movie of Peter Pan.
Especially me. I am a Disney junkie.
Yeah,
And I'm so ready for this movie to come out.
Yeah, and this movie is actually taking kind of a unique approach to the story. One we haven't really quite seen all that much. It's actually more of an origin story with all these characters, especially Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Peter Pan, his relationship with Captain Hook.
Oh, yeah.
How he gets to Neverland in the first place, the world of Neverland. It's supposed to explore just how these things came together for the animated film Peter Pan.
Kind of a twist too, because if you look at the previews, Captain Hook is not appeared as it has been in the animation. Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of different.
Apparently
so.
something happens.
Yeah.
We'll have to watch the movie to find out.
We do.
All right, up next, The Walk. Now, this is one I've seen plenty of previews for, and it's got a quite interesting premise with the tightrope walker walking across the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers. That's going to explore, that's going to bring up a lot of memories about these two buildings before the tragic attack. And it's going to explore a very dangerous feat of acrobatics that this character played by Jordan Gordon-Levitt actually is going to, and I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think he actually uses a net. I don't know if the actual character, the actual person didn't use a net, or if it's just a kind of a device used in the film.
Right.
But nevertheless, it's going to be quite a thriller if it's executed how we believe it's going to be.
Yes.
All right, third, Steve Jobs. Now, I know we got a Steve Jobs movie with Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, Kutcher, yeah.
But not too many were excited with how that turned out. However, instead of Ashton Kutcher this time, we got Michael Fassbender. I love this guy. And from the previews, he's going to give an electric performance. He is going to bring Steve Jobs to life. And he is going to bring kind of a boring topic as far as, computers go.
Right. Who wants to hear about
business
technology?
and companies. And he's going to breathe life into this character and actually they're going to try and spice up the story and give it kind of a thrill feel to it. It's going to be interesting how that plays out.
And to see how different the films are, like, compare contrast type deal once it comes out. So, excited.
Next, we got Goosebumps. Now, I'm sure everyone
Every person
our
as a
age,
kid
of
has
course,
watched this.
remembers the
Read the
R.L.
books.
Stein books.
Yes.
Now, I didn't read too many as a kid, but I was definitely familiar with kind of the culture of it.
Right.
And it was definitely kind of the main introductory for people our age into kind of the horror genre as a whole, whether it be literature or films. Just the idea. In fact, if I remember correctly, there was a TV show over Goosebumps and some of the different stories that that were written about in those books.
I mean, it was very popular, so I wouldn't be surprised.
So it's going to be nice creating a film with such precedent and such source material. I'm going to be excited to see if they can bring that horror to life on the big screen.
Film. Yeah, and if you're a 90s baby, you'll appreciate it.
Of course. And lastly, we have Bridge of Spies. Now, a Cold War movie bringing Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg together.
Together, they're amazing.
Exactly. Like, how much more A-list can you get?
Can you
with
put
these
in
two?
one? It's just too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
And wow, what more can you say?
Right.
I mean,
kind of speechless now.
a great, a great topic in our history, a great premise with kind of a business lawyer having to negotiate with the Russian military in order to get back an American
That's some
spy.
stuff right there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be great to see.
Well, I can't wait for that either. And I don't even have to know the plot. Just to know that they're working together is fabulous. Well, thank you, Caleb, for all that info. And it's time to wrap up, but we want to make sure that you guys are staying connected. So follow Caleb and I on Twitter at Adeeja A.
And Silvey_Surfer. This has been another edition of Real Talk. New season?
New movies. Good night, everybody, and keep it real.